Okay people, so the same way I could come to you and talk to you guys about like my frustrations and why I have issues with Dragon Ball Super, you know, I've went on some rants about Vegeta being disrespected and some of the issues that I've had with the series. I gotta also keep it real with you guys when it's the exact opposite, when I'm not on no hate train, when I'm actually feeling like, yo, Dragon Ball needs more props right now, because what is going on with Granolah the Survivor in the Dragon Ball Super manga, especially with chapter 70 right now, I'm on board. I feel as though there's not enough recognition for what's going down right now with the Dragon Ball Super manga. The same way we can all come together and collectively say, oh my god, they're doing this wrong, they're doing that wrong, we should come collectively together and say, yo, it is getting off the chain right now, it is picking up, it is smoking hot to say the least, because fam, Dragon Ball Super chapter 70, Granolah's wish to the dragon, the implications that it leads to, the way he treated Monaito, the heaters, the battle with the heaters, the Hakai, just so much to go into. And yeah, I ain't even gonna lie, I'm very excited to talk. I've been since yesterday when I first read the chapter, I was like, damn, I can't wait to talk about some Dragon Ball. So without further ado people, let's talk a little bit of that Dragon Ball Super. I don't want to say greatness because then the next chapter will get shitted on, but we're gonna talk some dope shit.
No matter how you feel, get it done. No matter how you feel, get it done. No matter how you feel, get it done. No matter how you feel, get it done.
Yes, people, like I said in the opening, I am coming with great pleasure and praise after reading chapter 70 of Dragon Ball Super. I just feel like this arc right now is so much win. Like, there's a couple of things that I would say, okay, it's not perfect, and there's certain aspects of like, alright, but for the most part, just Granolah as a whole, in the, what, 3 or so chapters that we've seen him, maybe 4 at this point, he has been just very impressive. Very impressive, to say the least. The fact that he's, I want to say, the only person in Dragon Ball history to do this, if I'm not mistaken. Never has there been anybody that was capable of wishing to be the strongest in the universe. Because the chapter starts off with the dragon telling Granolah that unfortunately he cannot grant his wish without a stipulation, that is. Like, yeah, I felt like he was trolling him for a minute, like, yo fam, I can't do it, but... And Granolah, of course, as desperate as he is, he's like, yo, whatever it takes, man, whatever the stipulation is, I'm all for it, because of course, you know, he's thirsty for revenge, which again, I think a lot of this whole arc is going to be continuing on Granolah's vengeance, his quest for vengeance, and Vegeta's latent quest for vengeance, I guess you could say, because it's not like he's running around screaming, man, my poor Saiyans, me fucking father, mate, I can't even believe it right now. Oh. Like, you know, Vegeta, he just, the only thing that I would say is maybe you could argue something related to that is him constantly saying, I am the prince of all Saiyans. Like, fam, you're the prince of like 3 people, fam. That's like, you know, somebody running their household and say, yo fam, I'm the prince of this household. Like, okay. And speaking of Vegeta, we come back to him training with Beerus, trying to learn the Hakai. That seems to be one of the big things, and like I said in the spoiler video, seems as though Vegeta's gonna go down the route of learning techniques, Goku's gonna go down the route of mastering Ultra Instinct and possibly the levels of it. Maybe he'll have a different look, but it'll still be in the same realm of Ultra Instinct, while Vegeta's gonna be like a man of many hats, a man of many quirks, so to speak, a la My Hero Academia. Because while Vegeta's training, he realizes that Hakai is more than just like, you know, a blast. Like Beerus says, he literally erases it from existence, which also something I said in the spoiler video, I gotta take back, that there's levels of control that you can have with Hakai. It's not like Hakai is just automatically, if you use it, you kill somebody, because just in the previous chapter, he used Hakai on Vegeta and barely, you know, just blasted him back. So if you master this and you learn it very well, you can kind of fight in, for example, a Goku versus Vegeta fight, where Vegeta's not going to be trying to kill Goku. You can use that technique and not kill him, just really severely hurt him. Which kind of doesn't make the most sense, because the way it's explained again is that it's basically erasing something from existence. So how do you do that but in moderation? Like, hey, I'm only erasing your chest cavities, fam. And you can tell that Goku's a little salty, like he's there training with Whis. He's like, god damn, I've been training with this angel motherfucker for 70 chapters now. Can I go train with the other dude? But of course he says, no, I'm gonna polish my Ultra Instinct, don't worry about it. But you can tell he's a little salty, which it's about time that Goku feels a little salty over Vegeta. Vegeta's been feeling that way for like thousands thousands of episodes now. Okay, not thousands, hundreds, you know what I mean. And the Oracle Fish continues to push forth the narrative that the strongest warrior will arise soon, which is interesting because that whole event was happening with Granolah while the Oracle Fish was saying that. So I'm curious, again, was he referencing Granolah or somebody totally different? Because I'll be honest with you, even after this chapter, I'm still not convinced that that's what the Oracle Fish was referring to. Like, I don't know if it's really, to be honest with you, I'm more so leaning towards he wasn't even talking about Granolah, and we're going to get to that because we know, of course, if you read the chapter at this point, you know that Granolah got his wish granted, but there's a lot more to it than that, so we'll get into it. But we see that Vegeta has made already some progress on Hakai as he was able to make a tiny little pebble disappear from using Hakai, basically disintegrating it without using a ki blast. So Vegeta's making waves, which is dope. Like, his training in the last couple chapters alone has actually bore fruit already. And then we cut back to Granolah. He now has really long hair, like I talked about again in the spoiler video, because I want to say it was about like 10 pages or something like that. But we see Granolah with the long hair looking, I'm not gonna lie, I'm in love with that design. I wish that they didn't change it up and have him cut his hair because I loved it. Just seeing him, he looked so freaking epic. And then he even uses, which in my opinion, that's exactly what it was, Hakai on a boulder, and later on in the chapter we'll talk about him using it again. But it seems as though he already can use Hakai, which if he got his wish granted, that would make sense. But seeing Granolah there, like, I can't stress enough how much I rocked with that design, and I'm so pissed off that they took it out. But Monaito, the Namekian, wakes up and he's distraught over what went down, what Granolah did. He realizes quickly, like, yo, you used the Dragon Balls, right? Where's my Dragon Balls? Fam, I should fuck you up for doing that shit. What's wrong with you? Okay, he didn't say all that, but he realizes, holy shit, what have you done? And I ain't gonna lie, it seems as though Granolah was super fake, because now that he got his wish granted and shit, he wasn't nice to Monaito anymore. Like, just before he got this power, he was like, you know, kissing his ass and saying, yeah, you're right, fam. But now that he got his wish to be all mighty and powerful and shit like that, he's like, it is what it is, Monaito. You a green little slug. I got this. And seemingly now, Granolah with his newfound powers can even sense power levels, which he couldn't do, because he's like, yo, I don't sense Frieza in any nearby planets, because he seemingly is immediately trying to get to his quest of vengeance. And I like that Whis already knows about Granolah because he's with his staff, which Whis is always one of the best. Like, I continuously say it, and I'm gonna continue to say it, that Whis and Beerus are the best things to happen to the Dragon Ball franchise since the revival of Battle of Gods. They move the plot along really nicely. It always makes sense because, hey, they're like upper beings, gods and angels and shit like that. So him seeing it also is gonna work properly because, okay, the Oracle Fish already said what he said. Now Whis is looking at it like, I gotta whip these guys, or at the very least Goku, into shape so we could get a proper fight and they don't get their asses kicked. One of the things that Monaito said, and I wholeheartedly agree, and I truly feel like this is why the Oracle Fish is not talking about Granolah. I don't think he's talking about it at all. When Monaito says, holy shit, so you got your wish accomplished. Yeah, you're the strongest now, but what about tomorrow? And that's the thing that I'm immediately thinking. Like, first of all, you know the way the Saiyans go. Like, Goku and Vegeta alone. Like, they progress very, very quickly with their strength. Frieza, all he had to do was train a month and he caught up to them after years and years of him being dead and shit like that. So we know that they can progress immensely. And again, we later on find out what it costs him, and we'll talk about that, you know, to obtain that power. But when Monaito said that, that is so much facts, because let's just say that in order for Granolah to advance any further, it would take way too much time. Like, basically, he caught up and he just barely surpassed Goku and Vegeta, right? Like, he's not out of this world stronger than them. Let's just say he's, you know, he's just a little bit stronger than them. What happens if they train and then they surpass him again? Or Frieza decides, yo, I'm gonna go train, man, I'm bored. What happens then? So it's just something to think about. But the chapter decides to destroy my hopes and dreams because Granolah cuts his hair, and it reminded me so much of Natsu and Fairy Tail after we had that little time skip and he had that really cool, sick, long hair, and then he cut it, because two of the main reasons why that hair got cut, I'm gonna just keep it so real, is nothing to do with the story or anything like that. It's straight up, one, that Super Saiyan 3 luscious hair is really hard to draw. You gotta, you know, especially if you're drawing panel after panel and shit like that, that's very difficult to draw. So yeah, that's one thing that'll probably slow Toyotaro down. But also, even further, when the anime comes, because, you know, it's only a matter of when, it's not a matter of if. When the anime comes, that is even more harder to animate. Just imagine having to draw thousands and thousands of that picture of their long hair and shit like that. So yeah, we'll get, like, you know, whenever the anime shows up, we'll have probably like 3 minutes of him with the long hair, and then, oh, it got cut. And I hate that. I hate that. I totally understand it. Don't get me wrong. holy shit, that's difficult to do. I still like it, and why show it if you're gonna take it away so damn soon? But 2 days pass, and Granolah heads to the Heater base and basically tells them, yo fam, I'm the strongest there is in the universe. And I love how they just kind of laughed him off and shit like that. Like, you can see, even though he got strength now and whatever he, had to sacrifice, whatever, at this point you still don't know in the chapter, they still not even taking him serious. And I'll be honest with you, because shortly after that he gets into a battle, he fights Oil and Maki, and Gas jumps in, and don't get me wrong, he is whipping their asses, they don't stand a chance. But it doesn't seem like, for somebody that's the strongest in the universe, like I would expect for him to not even have to move. Like, he wouldn't even have to move and kick all of their asses. So the fact that they're not giving him a fight, but it doesn't just seem like, again, that overwhelming power that you would expect from somebody that just made a wish on the Dragon Balls to be the strongest in the universe. And I feel like even if he has all that strength, he's still very naive. Like, he gets tricked multiple times into giving info. He's like, okay, first, bam, I'm the strongest in the universe, and then they trick him again, and Lek is like, well, how do we know what's going on here? Let us know. And he's like, okay, fine, I'll tell you, I wished on the Dragon Balls. He's quick to give the info. Like, he's too desperate for his vengeance, and he's too naive still. With all this power that he has now, he still mentally is kind of like stuck prior to the power of like the experience he had. And when the Heaters tell him like, yo, we'll find Frieza, we'll be in touch, don't worry, and shit like that, it just feels like, again, this is supposed to be the strongest warrior in the universe, and they're just treating him like an idiotic toddler. But then he drops the bombshell, because he tells them, hurry, I don't got very long to live, which apparently Cerealins have like 200 years of life, and in order to have his wish granted by the dragon, he had to sacrifice 150 of his years, and he was already 50 years old, which, holy shit, I thought he was like 20 or 30, but Dragon Ball art doesn't mean anything. The way they look doesn't signify their age by any means. And basically we find out that Granolah has 3 years left to live, which more than likely that 3 years would lead into the end of Dragon Ball Z when that tournament happens. So I'm curious how long this arc is going to stretch out, or is this going to be the final arc of Dragon Ball Super for now, or indefinitely in terms of the super portion of Dragon Ball? Let's be real, it's Dragon Ball. Eventually it will come back again someday, but what if that's why it's like, oh, he has 3 years left, because this is going to span from now all the way through to, again, the end of Z, where Dragon Ball Super will probably nicely line up to have Oob and everything a part of it and wrap it all up. Also, the Heaters are pieces of shit, because we find out that, yeah, they were working with Frieza, and they were the ones responsible for what happened to Planet Cereal and selling the planet to the Sugarians and shit like that. Absolute scumbags. And because they want Frieza's army, they're basically going to use the Saiyans, Goku and Vegeta, because they're aware that Goku and Vegeta took out Moro to take out Granolah and, kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. And yeah, that chapter ends off with, oh shit, the fated three are going to meet, which is kind of similar to how they did with the whole Broly situation, even the promos leading up to the Broly film, which they better not skip out on having Broly in this arc. Like, I don't know if they're like, oh, let's not use Broly because we're gonna have bigger plans later on down the road, but this makes perfect sense to have Broly. In fact, the next person Granolah encounters, I'm hoping, is not Goku or Vegeta, it's Broly, and Broly whips his ass, and maybe it reveals once again, no, the strongest is going to show up. It's Broly again, fam. Wrapping my thoughts up of the chapter, I'm really hype about Granolah. I think it's so sick that he actually accomplished his wish. He did something that nobody in the history of Dragon Ball has been able to accomplish, of getting the Dragon Balls to actually grant you the wish of being the strongest in the universe. Granted, he sacrificed 150 of his years, leaving him with 3 left, but still, that was a huge feat. I'm just not sold that it's him, that he's going to be the destined one, because again, like Mo Naito said, you're the strongest today. What about tomorrow? What if Frieza decides to train tomorrow? Bam. You know what I'm saying? If it took you 150 years to get to this point of strength, meanwhile Goku, Vegeta, and Frieza they train for a couple days and they boost up in strength, you're going to be outclassed very quickly. And I'm curious what you guys think about this chapter. Big question. Who is going to be the strongest? Is it because Granolah is right now? That's what the Oracle Fish was thinking of? Is it somebody else entirely? Do you think that Granolah, the next encounter he has, is not going to be Goku, Vegeta, or even Frieza? It'll be Broly, or they're going to leave Broly completely out of this? And your thoughts on the Granolah the Survivor arc thus far? I am really digging it. I think that they're doing a great job, a fantastic job. In fact, I normally, because this chapter, Dragon Ball and Boruto come out at the same time every month, and normally it's always that I'm more rocking with the Boruto side of things. This is one of the first chapters in a while that I'm like, oh no, this Dragon Ball Super shit is on fire right now. And your overall thoughts and expectations for the Dragon Ball Super manga with chapter 71 and beyond? I can't freaking wait. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links are in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in. And yo, Granolah, big things. But again, tomorrow, will those big things still remain the biggest? We'll find out next time on Dragon Ball. Okay, let's just fucking end this video. Peace.
So just go to